I want to talk about how much the fans still believe in Ange Postecoglou, because obviously when he first came in, up until, I don't know, a few months ago, you know, the majority of songs that we sung was this Ange Postecoglou song, very good connection with him and the fan base. That has seemed to, I wouldn't say dried up completely, but dried up a little bit. And there is a narrative around some sections of the fan base saying this guy's too tactically naive. Maybe we need to look in another direction. After the Chelsea game on social media, Ange out was trending. I'm not sure if that was trolls or if that was actual Tottenham fans. But do you think, as a general fan base, we are still in backing of Ange Postecoglou, or do you think, you know, the patience is wearing thin a little bit?
I think people are getting annoyed, and you know, because we have expectations. But then, even as a Tottenham fan, I don't even know what our expectations are going into a season. Do you think top 4 minimum this year? Do you think top 6 minimum? You know, I feel like at the beginning of the year, we all signed up to say, you know, Kane's left. If we can finish, you know, I mean, like the likes of Paul Merson were saying mid-table 10th, 11th, which, you know, we all laughed at that because we knew this was, you know, we're better than that. But I think my prediction was 6th and playing better football, which looks like we're going to achieve. And that was me being like really optimistic because I thought Kane leaving was going to be the beginning of the end. I think as a fan base, you know, I get comments on my videos about, you know, maybe they are getting called a happy clapper, being too positive, all that sort of stuff. And you don't know if it could be Arsenal fans trolling. You just don't know. And even like I have discussions with Arsenal fans who are my friends going like, and just, you know, he's out of his depth. Da, da, da. And I was like, you were Arteta out. So and now you love him. So don't tell me like, you know, don't teach an old dog new tricks. I've seen what you've gone through. So I know like me backing my manager is something that you've done as well. But I think there must be a corner of the fan base who are fed up, but it's hard to gauge what fans they are, because I've even got like older fans saying to me that they've seen enough rubbish to stick by Ange, they're willing to be patient. You know, younger fans like him because of this, you know, attacking football with, you know, we've seen best out of Maddison and Son like at the beginning of the season. But I'd say if you were to put a percentage on it, I think it's like maybe like 5%. I feel like it's not as much as we. I think
5% Ange out.
Yeah, I think the.
Let's see. I'll put a poll in the comments. Let's see.
I think the fan base in general are more backing this manager, because also what I throw to people is like, what do you want next? What manager? Name me a name. And someone
Ryan Mason. Who else?
Oh, what is he in charge of set pieces as well? Is he? We'll see how that goes. I just feel like it. I sound like a stuck record now, but I just feel like we should give it a go and just see how it plays out. Because at the moment, you know, if we finish 5th in our first season with Europa League football, I think that's fantastic. You know, Villa have looked strong. Villa had a really good season. Villa, you know, Emery's been there a season and a half now, and you know, had to pick up the reins from Steven Gerrard. They've got. I look at Villa's squad and think how strong that is, position by position, and I feel like their team is stronger than ours now. You know, a lot of their players we'd like to have, like Douglas Luiz in our 6th position, or Ollie Watkins through the middle or off the wing. I feel like that would improve us.
But I think player for player, we are still better than them as a first 11. I think.
I don't know, like Leon Bailey on the wing.
Well, if you go for it, if you go Spurs v Aston Villa player by player, we can have a look. I mean, keepers is probably, I would probably say Emi Martinez is better than Vicario. Just being realistic, I think the 2 centre backs, I would prefer Spurs' 2 centre backs in my opinion. Van der Ven and Romero. Would you agree with that?
I mean, like Diego Carlos when he's come in has been good. Ezri Konsa's played more right back, hasn't he? But he's in with.
I think Romero definitely gets in, surely.
Romero and Van der Ven.
I like Pau Torres, to be fair, but I think
Pau Torres has had a good season. I think it's close between those two. I feel like it's, you know,
it's close between Van der Ven and Torres. I think.
But I think our pairing does edge their pairing, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'll give
Right
you that
back, Porro over Cash or Konsa, whoever you want. I still think Porro's a better player. Udogi, who's their left back?
Luca Dean.
Dean. I mean, I think I wouldn't swap them. Would you?
Even would you say they've got more depth though? Because you said Matty Cash, Ezri Konsa, and then on the other side you could say
I think
the
when
Spanish,
it comes to
Spanish guy,
I think
he's
when it
quite
comes
good
to
at
Villa's depth, it's like their depth is closer to their first team quality than our depth. There's a bigger
I
gap.
think that's what helps.
Yeah, so they don't miss it too much as we do. I think we've got, like, in terms of sufficient players, we've got probably as many, but I think the gap is a lot bigger for us than it is for them.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
The problem is because Villa were in the Championship a couple of years back. They've actually taken a step back, brought Monchi in to support Emery, and they're getting the best out of him. Even their recruitment, they've picked up that Rodgers who looks good. They've brought through Jacob Ramsey. John McGinn's a good leader. They've built something good, and that's where you give someone time. And I know Emery maybe has a higher, he's got a better reputation than Ange, you could say, after winning the Europa Leagues at Sevilla. But that's why I feel like you need to let a manager build something at a club. Look at Klopp. I know these managers, people will say, well, Klopp is on a different, realm to Postecoglou maybe, and even people lately are saying how old Postecoglou is compared to other managers, and it's like this is his prime sort of thing, and it's like the jibes I just find funny at the moment. But I do think, yeah, if you said to me at the beginning of the season, 5th Europa League, I couldn't really moan with that. Maybe if you told me at the end of the season we lost 4 on the bounce, and I'd be like, oh.
It's just the manner of the defeat.
That's what it is, yeah.
That's what it is. It's the manner of how we've ended the season. In terms of the question, are the fans still behind Ange? I do think broadly, yeah. I think they are. I don't think there's many serious Ange out kind of movements or anything like that. I don't think anyone... I think there are fans who have lost belief. I don't think there's any proper calls to sack him. However, in terms of the project, I think definitely in recent weeks, there's just been a bit more, I would say, I'm trying to find the right word, but I think maybe a couple months ago there was full belief that we're definitely...
So probably say doubt and questions are starting to seep in.
There's a few more serious doubts that is Ange actually the guy that's going to bring trophies back to Tottenham? Is he actually going to get us challenging for league titles? I think obviously early in the season, even up until February, March time, I think everyone was really on the look, clearly you just get a few more signings, get these players back from injury, you can see where this team is at, you can see what we're capable of. It's just the fact that we've had these players come back now and we're looking worse, then that's I think the doubts now are starting to really seep in. Not is he a good man, bad manager, or anything like that. I think people enjoy the football. I think people want to see where it goes. But I think there was more of a belief that Ange could really get us challenging right at the top. And I think there's more doubts about that than more than him getting sacked, I think, at this point. Not to say he still doesn't retain the support of the fan base. I think he does. I think the fans generally still like him and they're still backing him. But in terms of, the conviction that we held that this project could go to the very top, which I did think a lot of fans felt throughout the season, that's starting to wane a bit, I feel.
Yeah.
I think that's obvious though, isn't it? If no one's going to be 100% happy after these defeats, set pieces, conceding 13 goals in 4 or whatever it is. I can sit here, even as a massive Ange fan, I can sit here and believe that that's not good enough. It's not good enough. It's not good enough at any level. And, even you got to look up and down the league. Company hasn't been sacked at Burnley. We play them this weekend. What's the reasoning behind that? Even compared this year to last year, the amount of sackings there were last year, we sacked 3 managers. We went through 3 managers. There's been less sackings because the managerial market is so scarce at the moment. Xavi's having to stay at Barcelona. Thomas Tuchel, he might have to stay now at Bayern Munich. I mean, if he wins a Champions League, that does give him a massive leg up. But even at the moment, that's what I'm saying. I don't know who we'd even bring in or what direction Tottenham go in after Ange if they do. Because at the moment, I'm starting to compare maybe Ange's first season with Pochettino's first season. I think we finished fifth then, but I
And
don't
actually,
remember.
to be fair, we had a pretty bad end to the season that season as well, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
So, you know,
We just go in circles. That's what it is.
but the you know, he was at the end of that season. A lot of players got cleared out. A lot of older players, you know, Kabul, Adebayor, Lennon, all these kind of people got shipped out, and he made some big changes. The thing I've been saying is, like, I look at the starting 11 on the weekend, right? And apart from Emerson, is anyone really going to get sold? Is anyone there is anyone in that 11 who's a massive problem? And if the answer is no, then why was it that bad then?
I think because there's question marks over certain individuals, isn't it? Like Basuma. I mean, even like I was quite shocked when I saw Richarlison's name in that Matt Law article, because I think it's this case of if you could get good money for some of these players, and you know if they're not in form, or if Ange is sitting there going, well, this player isn't good enough for what I need, then maybe I think the thing is we get quite sentimental as fans as well, and we don't want to break this nice contingent up. But sometimes you have to look at what's it called? Look at Liverpool. Coutinho was part of the Fab Four. They got rid of him, and everyone was shocked. But he helped fund Alisson and Van Dijk's move, and it ultimately made Liverpool a better team. Maybe we have to like get rid of someone we think is beneficial, but then in the grand scheme of things, it could come, you know, to help us in a different thing. Maybe part of that might be, and this might be controversial, maybe Son is part of that. Does Son actually benefit Tottenham? And this is me. I'm such a massive
Definitely
fan of Son.
controversial.
We share. This is me. This is my TalkSport brain coming out. But this is me saying, like, we're sitting here going, is Son a striker? Is Son a winger? Is he getting too old? You know, if you maybe revamp that front line, like, is it a part of shoehorning him in? I'm not so sure, but yeah, that's my hot take for this week.
I won't. I'll definitely go completely against that and say Son is most definitely not a problem here at Tottenham.
But is
Hotspur.
Sonny a problem? That's the question.
You can't have a name like that and say Son is a problem, or even bring the question up.
No, it's just because I think to back it up a little. I just think, you know, in recent games he's not looked as strong as he can usually be. Even like in front of goal, he's just not pulling the trigger where you'd think he would. And I think I still fancy. Maybe that was a bit harsh, but I still think I fancy him as a winger compared to a striker. I think playing off someone, he's fantastic. I think, you know, he has returned to form this season, but there are moments where I'm thinking, like, is there a moment where, like, say next game we didn't play him, I just, you know, maybe, like, because even some people were saying our best front three this season was when Solomon was in it. So it's hard to even know, like, what is. And Sim, I know you said they're like the starting lineup on the weekend. I still don't know if Ange knows what his perfect lineup is at the moment. Like,
he definitely doesn't know what his best midfield is. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. He's changed it so much; it's becoming like.
He seems to be changing it every half.
But
every game.
everyone loves to give Son stick consistently, time and time. Last year was warranted, but he was playing with a hernia throughout the whole season. This year, he's got 26 goal contributions across the whole season. I mean, if to say he's the problem, I think is absolutely ludicrous. Like, you can't be a problem and get that many goal contributions throughout the whole season. Yeah, fine, he's not playing well over the past couple of weeks, granted, but no one is. But throughout the whole season, he's probably been our best player.
Do you think he's being used, like, perfectly, though? I feel like even 1 minute it was Richarlison on the left, then Son through the middle, then he's playing with John. Like, I feel like maybe it's the players around him that's not helping. Like, even when Maddison came on against Liverpool, it looked like there was more for him to run on to. I just haven't seen him. Like, what he's played like recently gave me flashbacks of last year where his confidence looked low. He wasn't running at players. His touch looked awful, and I can't get my head around it, because I always think Son is a mood player as well. Like, if he's, you know, in a good place, he can really, like, succeed for Spurs. And I'm even backing him as the captain. I saw a lot of fans at the time question his like him having the captaincy, and then I've seen some stuff about maybe it should be Romero after his warrior-like performances recently. But I think Son is the embodiment of Spurs, and I want the best for him. I want him to lift the trophy for us before he leaves. But when I'm watching him recently, I'm just thinking like, I don't know if he's trying too much. It's confusing.
But if you watched us recently, you'd want everyone gone. Like, it's not just Son. Like, the whole squad should be sold if we're going to say, like, based off the last 2 games. And I get it, he's not played well, but, like, you can't have level of productivity throughout a season if you're declining that much. I just think, look, Son is 31, and the reality is he's not maybe... he's definitely not improving as a player. I think we know this is what Son is for sure. And there are some games like on Thursday where he gets bullied by Gilchrist, and then when those games happen, you're like, oh God, is he really declining? Is this it? Because after every bad game, and after you turn 30, everyone always asks that question. I remember people said the same thing about Kane. Like on a few games, he turned like 30, he had a few bad games. Like, oh God, is this it for Kane? Is he done now? I just think. He's got 17 goals this season. He's one of the top assisters in the league this season. He's still got that quality about him. He's still got so much to give. I just think you got to manage him. You got to manage him properly. You can't, at 31, 32 next year, you can't. It's not sustainable to play him every minute of every game. I think it's ridiculous that he's forced to do that. But given how much better he is than all our other forwards, that's why. We have to do it at the moment. So we have to get more forwards on his level. But I really don't think he's anywhere near the problem. I think a lot of it is to do with the players around him. And I think he's trying his best to do a lot of it by himself. And it's not quite working. And he's not on the level anymore to do all of it by himself. But he's still got so much to give. I think he'd be the last player I'd be doubting about in that front three from what I've seen recently.
Yeah, 100%. And you look at the chances created for him. I mean, there's next to no chance creation or creativity in this team at the moment, and Son is the one bearing the brunt of that. You know, I still think he's making good runs. I still think his positional play is fairly good, but nobody's finding him on a consistent basis. Yeah, when he gets the ball potentially around the edge of the area, he gets crowded out a little bit. That for sure is a problem, but the creativity around him is just little next to nothing, and I think he's suffering for it big time, massively. But we do have the poll. The poll is 79% fully behind Ange and 21% not behind Ange, and that was with 658 concurrent viewers. So let's hope that is more of a representation of the fan base and that the vast majority are still behind him.